I see philanthropy as opening windows and opening doors to opportunities for social change.
The gift of giving to a community and binding that community together in what's important for all of us, that's philanthropy.
San Diego region's had a rich history with philanthropy. We're a thrifty city when it comes to taxes, but a very generous city when it comes to giving.
Philanthropy allows us to do research that typical NIH funding won't. That research becomes companies. These companies create jobs.
Philanthropists in this region and the philanthropic organizations have the same kinds of values that resonate for Cal State San Marcos, of stewardship, of inclusivity.
When you look at all the agencies that are out there working with seniors, working with children, without philanthropy that simply wouldn't happen.
When you invest your time and your interests and your resources in something bigger than yourself, according to your passion, and you can pull others into that passion, something's going to result from that.
Philanthropy is often the first to get involved in important issues that shape the future.
In academia, we want to graduate more first-generation students. We want to find new cures. We want to get to therapies faster.
Look at the medical institutions, the scholarships for students at City College, at UCSD. That's philanthropy.
It creates the opportunity from a goal being probably achieved to the real possibility of it being achieved.
It's about engaging your time and your resources and your passions with organizations that are trying to build the quality of life for all people in this region.
It's good for the community.
One of the most potent fuels for innovation.
It's the coming together and it's the achieving. Together we can achieve more.
Together, we really can make a difference.
Hi, I'm Jerry Sanders, and I'm with the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Toni. Constance asked me to come and speak tonight, and you know, as I think about philanthropy, I'm obviously speaking to the wrong group, because all of you are involved as it is right now. But I think we all get involved in different times, at different points in our lives, for things that we're passionate about. I was able to go to the San Diego Community College Promise Program Gala last week. And I reflect back when I went to community college and it was free. And I look at what our students have to pay now, which is still an unbelievable deal. But to have a foundation, to have the community college district raise funds so that we can get the most vulnerable students into programs for the first 2 years means that they're not going to go into debt with huge education debts, because they're going to learn for those first 2 years, and then they're going to be able to go to the CSU system or the UC system at a reasonable cost. It's things like that that I think bring out the passion in a lot of us. I went to San Diego State University in 1970, and it was a really expensive $52.50 a semester. Well, the expensive part was parking. That was $15. My wife went to schools back east, and one day we were sitting down talking, and this has been about 10 years ago, and she said, you know, you need to give back to that university. You got the start in San Diego, you made your friendships, you made lifelong acquaintances, and you only paid a few $100s for that. And she absolutely convinced me, and I think that's one of the passions now that both of us have, is giving back to the university, her to her university, but it's also giving back to students at the lowest level who are just starting out. But San Diego, as I said in the video, is a thrifty city when it comes to taxes, but extremely generous in philanthropy. And I could look around this room and point out dozens and dozens of people who have actually made San Diego an unbelievable city just by doing that. You know, I founded on the police department with the police foundation and people supporting us, founded at United Way with literally hundreds of thousands of people giving small donations to help out health and human services, founded at the Red Cross where we had that safety net for our communities, and founded in the mayor's office because we couldn't fund anything. Mel Katz was the lead on that to fund our new downtown library. But if you look at any library in San Diego, you're going to see a donor's name on it who made that possible for that specific community. So once again, I just want to thank all of you for your generous philanthropy for all of San Diego. And I'd like to thank the San Diego Community Foundation for making it easy. Because it's easy to start a trust there. It's easy to start an endowment. It's easy to find your passion because they have so many staff members who know how to fund your passion. And I think that's what makes it the great organization that it is. So thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you, Jerry, very much. You know, Jerry has been such an icon in San Diego as our former mayor, as our police chief, so many roles, and of course now in his capacity as president of the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce. And we were just together the other evening working on behalf of students. So I would just like to once again thank you, Jerry, and have all of us thank you for the great gifts you give to San Diego. It's my pleasure now to introduce a group of people who are volunteers in their way, but very, very hard-working volunteers. And they're the people who serve as the Board of Governors of the San Diego Foundation. And I'd like them each to stand when I call their names, but please hold your applause until all of them are standing. The members of the Board of Governors are Kathy Bauer, Darcy Bingham, Kay Chandler, Hal Dunning, Elizabeth Eisner Forbes, who may not be with us, Kevin Hamilton, Jacob James, Lee Cole Johnson, Mel Katz, Steve Klosterman, Ginny Merrifield, Dr. Becky Pettit, and Ben Haddad, Cindy Bertrand, and Kevin Harris. I think, did I miss anyone? We in the foundation do our best work when we partner with others, when we partner with businesses, when we partner with universities, community colleges, yay, and no chauvinism here, and schools, when we work with government and the other nonprofit organizations. And that's our theme, working together. And that's what makes the foundation strong, and we hope together makes our community strong. I would also like to thank the staff of the San Diego Foundation for their dedication and commitment. And would the staff of the foundation please stand and be recognized? Two members of our staff, in quotation marks, could not be with us tonight, and they are doing an extraordinary job. Our interim CEO, Connie Matsui, is working on a tremendous project involving the International Girl Scouts in London, and Cliff Shearson, who is our interim chief academic officer, also could not be with us. So now is the time to feel sorry for me. I have to play all of their roles. So unfortunately, you will hear more from me this evening than maybe you would like, but that's, be patient with that. So. This room is also filled with community change makers, people who make a difference in their work in many ways that makes our community better. And I would like each of them to stand as I call their names, but again, hold your applause until all are standing. With great pride, the California Senate President pro tempore, Toni Atkins. That's all right for that. Besides which, since my background is in Greek and Latin, I love having pro tempore and hear it being mispronounced all over the state of California. San Diego Board of Supervisor member Ron Roberts. Is Ron here? I did not, he's probably on his way. the esteemed president of California State University, San Marcos, Dr. Karen Haynes. Associate Vice Chancellor and Dean of the University of California, San Diego Extension, Mary Walshock is here. Former Mayor of Chula Vista, Cheryl Cox. And CEO of the Raymond Companies, Jack Raymond. Thank you for joining. So with that, what I would like to do now is turn to my introduction, which would have been Connie Matsui's introduction, but who's complaining? We have all watched Toni Atkins' historic ascent to the California State Senate. Public service is clearly her mission, and she's demonstrated her commitment to our community over decades. I will not say how many decades. From San Diego City Council member, aide to District 3, representative to interim mayor of San Diego, from the State Assembly, where Toni became the first San Diegan to hold the position of Speaker of the California Assembly, to the State Senate, where this year Toni became the first woman to lead as Senate President pro tempore. Throughout her career, Toni Atkins has been an advocate for affordable housing, the natural environment, health care, veterans, women, and as a proud and beloved member of our LGBTQ+ community. She is definitely a champion for the San Diego region. Please join me in welcoming Senator Toni Atkins.
Constance, thank you so much. It is quite an honor to be here. And I was really impressed because when you started and you told people not to clap, they didn't clap. It's the first time I've ever seen that happen in a group, so that just speaks your power. And I also am glad to see that Jerry Sanders hasn't lost his sense of humor. I think it was being mayor of the city of San Diego that helped enhance that. But no, it really is an honor to be here, and I'm sorry Connie is not here, a longtime board member, stepping in yet again to do an incredible job as interim. So please give her my best. You know, it is an honor for me to be here and a chance to share a few thoughts with you this evening. And I am honored to be part of this community and part of a partner with so many of you. You know, one of the best pieces of advice I was ever given was given to me more than 35 years ago, so that's decades, Constance, when I was attending Emory-Henry College in my home state of Virginia. It was given to me by one of my most important mentors, Dr. Stephen Fisher. He said, imagine the world that you want to live in and then work to create it. I've remembered those words throughout my career, first in the community health centers, and then in public service with Chris Kehoe as an elected official after that. I put these words to use when I helped Christine Kehoe pursue her agenda as a member of the San Diego City Council and continued to do so throughout my own time on the City Council, in the Assembly, as the Assembly Speaker. And I think these words now mean as much to me as ever before as I go about the business of being the leader of the California Senate. You know, the world that I imagine is abundant with safe and affordable housing for everybody. These homes are economically and culturally diverse communities that are walkable and bikeable and close to job centers so that commute times are minimized. Income inequality is dramatically reduced so that parents aren't forced to take on a second or a third job to make ends meet, and they have more time to spend with their children and their families. There are plenty of affordable child care slots so that parents are free to thrive in their careers and provide for their families with peace of mind knowing that their kids are safe and okay. In the world that I imagine, children are well prepared and well nourished so they can reach their full potential in high-quality schools, staffed by well-paid and well-respected teachers. These children go on to California's world-class higher education system, which is well-funded and affordable for all families, or to plentiful trade schools that are always adapting to meet the evolving workforce needs of employers. All families have easy access to high-quality preventive health care. In the world that I imagine, our communities boast high-quality and affordable public transit so that residents can leave their cars at home more often. But it's okay if they use their cars occasionally because they're fully electric. And when they do use their cars, they drive on streets, roads, and highways that are well maintained and quickly repaired. With cars no longer polluting the air, our air quality is perfect, as is the quality of our drinking water in all communities. Our families have a hard time deciding where to go for relaxation and recreation because there are almost too many choices of local, regional, and state parks. And our beautiful, pristine beaches and bays are easily accessible to everyone. In the world that I imagine, climate change has been reversed, dramatically reducing the frequency and intensity of devastating wildfires. Sea level rise? It's not a concern. The services and amenities provided in the world that I imagine cost money, sure, but because we've invested in prevention and preparation on the front end, there's far less of a need to spend money solving severe problems on the back end. Pie in the sky, right? Well, the truth is, we're struggling hard each and every day on issues like this in the state legislature and in our government. I do have faith in the power of government to improve the quality of life in our communities. I wouldn't do what I do if I didn't believe it with all my heart. The state legislatures had a very good year in 2018. We made tremendous strides in education funding, climate action, wildfire responses, emergency aid to reduce homelessness, and other policy areas. But many, many challenges remain, and government can't solve all those problems. And that is why we need philanthropy. We rely on the generosity of people who've been successful in their lives and who have the ability to give back, and they have the desire to help. And the San Diego Foundation actually gives people a way to do that. You're at the very center of generosity for our city, our community, and our state. Your programs aid members of our community from childhood to the final years, providing children with early education and support to reduce risk, granting educational scholarships, strengthening our workforce and our economy by funding opportunities for students pursuing STEM careers, and supporting programs that assist seniors as they age in their own communities and remain socially active. Your programs expand to nature, particularly for residents in disadvantaged communities. You know, too many of our children live amidst so much natural splendor and yet have never experienced it themselves. It's tragic, but you're helping to change all that. You are warriors in the fight against climate change. You've affirmed your commitment to climate action, and I want to thank you, the Foundation, for signing We Are Still In declaration. You also back up that commitment with significant dollars to support local efforts to make sure that our region is prepared for the impacts of our changing climate. The arts. You provide artists who might otherwise struggle to release their creativity and enrich our lives with beautiful and provocative works. You are such supporters of the arts. And these are just a few examples of how you enhance our community. And I haven't even thanked you yet for your incredible work in Balboa Park. I love the pictures of Balboa Park. For me, and I know that I'm not alone, Balboa Park is a magical place. I go there to relax, I go away to get away from it all, and trust me, I need to get away from it all. Or I can go there to be a part of something. And it remains so wonderful, thanks in part to the Foundation's Balboa Park endowment. So I want to say thank you for that. Another one of your special funds that I especially like is your Fund for the Future, described as an endowment fund that will forever support the San Diego region's unforeseen challenges. Unforeseen challenges. If I had to write my own job description, I would probably write those words in big capital letters right at the top. I know a number of you feel the same way. But that's what it's all about for me and for you. Solving unforeseen challenges is a job description for each and every one of us, sometimes in our careers, but absolutely in our jobs as citizens and as caring donors. As a legislator and as the leader of the Senate, I'm committed to working collaboratively with colleagues and advocates and organizations of all kinds to solve problems and improve the quality of life. But again, government doesn't work alone. It can't. So I'm really grateful for the philanthropic organizations like the San Diego Foundation. And you know, I have to admit, a number of these people whose names you've heard, they've served on this board a very long time with a serious commitment. And we didn't get to clap for them because Constance told us not to, and we were obedient, at least for the first introduction. So clap for them now. The board members, the staff, and everyone here in this room, you are partners in problem solving. You have a vision. You generate the leverage. You make the collective impact. You imagine the world that you want to live in, and you work to create it. So please keep imagining. Please keep creating. We're counting on it. And I'll close the evening by sharing one of my favorite of all time quotes. When I need inspiration, I often turn to one of our very own greatest San Diegans, and of course, that would be Dr. Seuss. This quote is from one of the greatest pro-environmental books I have ever read, The Lorax, and I know that all of you know this quote. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So thank you all for caring a whole awful lot.
Community foundations in the San Diego region and throughout the country make it easy to give. They have experts on staff that help donors direct their philanthropy to where they want it to go.
A community foundation focuses on the immediate community. They encourage people to participate, to donate, and to perhaps be a role model for helping others follow their passions.
And it's hard to kind of know where to put your energy, where to put your resources without some kind of honest broker introducing you to issues.
They are geographically housed and focused, so they know the needs of the region and they can tap into them.
Community foundations like the San Diego Foundation are wonderful at giving you a roadmap to the kinds of organizations and the kinds of initiatives that might fit with your values and your interests.
If you're a donor and you don't know what your passion is, it is a great idea to create a donor advised fund in a community foundation.
You have thousands of donors who can become significant change agents by being a part of this community foundation movement.
The San Diego Foundation was a part of this library. The San Diego Foundation was part of Balboa Park and continues to be part of Balboa Park. It's also very environmentally active with a lot of the donors, so it plays a very important role in the San Diego region.
I mean, look how large the county of San Diego is. And yet, through the efforts of the San Diego Foundation, we have local charitable foundations that exist to do well in their communities.
Given that the San Diego Foundation has existed for 40 years, distributed $1 billion, clearly its impact has improved the entire region of San Diego.
I think the foundation has been an important catalyst partner.
They flatten the playing field.
They also give a lot of donors a voice in San Diego.
They have saved important organizations.
They're working to make this community a better place.
Good evening. I am Jack Raymond, one of many past chairs of the San Diego Foundation, and it is nice to be back here again. And yes, I will explain the beard. Caroline and I just returned from an expedition to the Arctic, intended through the infamous Northwest Passage. However, like many explorers before us, our journey through this treacherous part of the world ended in failure, and we had to be rescued by a Canadian icebreaker. True. The ocean was angry that day, my friends, and the sea ice was restless. It trapped us in a fjord among the islands, and we had to return defeated to Greenland from where we started. To both emulate and join the naturalist and professional guides on board, I had to grow this beard. I really had no choice. Our explorer ship was strong, and the icebreaker ship was mighty, so we all survived. Our largest threat, our greatest concern, our biggest fear was to run out of wine, which we did not. Since this is San Diego, a great natural seaport, and since we are meeting at a former naval training center, and since I just got off one, I want to briefly talk about ships. Let me start with leadership and the profound impact it has on any organization. When it is there, we tend to take it for granted. When it is not, it can cause turmoil. And I want to recognize and commend Dr. Constance Carroll and the board's leadership in initiating and implementing a very difficult transition here at the San Diego Foundation. It was necessary, it was the right thing to do, and they did it. I also want to stress relationships. They define community foundations. It is the essence of what we are about, and we need to reestablish many which may have been lost in the recent past. Together we can do it. I am totally committed to it, and I urge you, if you are asked, to become involved as well. I would be remiss not to mention donorships, since our donors are who provide us with the means to do our good work. They are our customers, they are our suppliers, they are our clients. We cannot ever thank them enough. They need our constant attention, and we cannot forget that. If I had time, I would also like to discuss scholarships, where the San Diego Foundation has a very robust program, and sponsorships, and friendships, and mentorships, and internships, and the list goes on and on. So lastly, I want to talk about partnerships, especially as they relate to the San Diego Foundation affiliates. As you saw in the video, the affiliates, including the Women's Foundation, are what make the San Diego Foundation truly regional. They are invaluable sources for new donors, new legacy gifts, new knowledge about local community nonprofits, new awareness of local community needs, and this list also goes on and on. They are not a profit center. They were never intended to be. They are mission-driven. They are one of the reasons why our donor advised funds are at the San Diego Foundation and not at Merrill Lynch or Fidelity or other for-profit institutions. Let me talk just very briefly about one affiliate, which is typical, quite frankly, of all eight, Escondido. Oh, there's some Escondido people here, wait. To date, they have granted to nonprofits over $2.2 million. Their current endowment and special funds total $2.49 million. They have directly involved 238 local residents as members. Its total impact on the community is now over $4.69 million. Because they were locally in place, active, and knowledgeable, the Escondido Charitable Foundation recently received a totally unexpected gift of $1 million for community enhancement, with a pledge for another $1 million over the next 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, in the 130-year history of Escondido, the city has never seen anything like that, and I know because I've been there the entire time. It is also typical of the other very fine regional affiliates who have involved their local residents and assisted their local nonprofits in serving their respective communities. We help each other. We share ideas and best practices, and best of all, we like each other. Together, the affiliates have directly involved 1,078 local residents as members, and their total effect in grants and fund balances is now over $12 million. This, in my judgment, is regional impact. Now, is there anybody here from Carlsbad? Forest Ranch, Chula Vista, Escondido, La Jolla, Oceanside, Ramona, Rancho Bernardo. I am happy to be with you this evening. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Jack. The one thing that I think is apparent about Jack, you left out one ship, and that's friendship. And you have been one of the best friends to San Diego and to the San Diego Foundation imaginable. So join me again in thanking Jack. The San Diego Foundation has one of its main conference rooms named the Jack Raymond Conference Room in honor of your generosity to just so many. Jack has mentioned the regional affiliates, and it's one of the ways in which the foundation reaches out to the entire region is through the affiliates. Together, affiliate members have granted $4.6 million to nonprofits and have built community endowments of more than $5 million to improve the lives of future generations in Forest Ranch and Del Sur, in Carlsbad, in Chula Vista, Escondido, led by Jack, La Jolla, Oceanside, Ramona, and Rancho Bernardo. And so one of our strong, wonderful one of the most wonderful aspects of the foundation is the regional affiliates. Now, as Cliff Shearson now, I'd like to share a few comments about the San Diego Foundation itself. San Diego is a society of optimists. Where others see challenge, we see opportunity. And one of the best investment opportunities San Diegans can make is in the lives of others. Some facts about the San Diego Foundation. In fiscal year 2018, that investment was larger than ever in the Foundation's granting history, granting more than $67 million to nonprofit organizations for strengthening communities throughout the region. Never before have donors at the San Diego Foundation given so much to so many. Your impact can be seen across generations, from children who have brighter futures to more early childhood education opportunities to older adults who can now remain connected to their communities thanks to a greater emphasis by cities, counties, and nonprofits creating age-friendly communities. During this fiscal year, your generosity was influential and impactful. $3.7 million for the environment, $3.9 million for youth development, $6.6 million for arts and culture, $11.3 million for health and human services, $17 million for civil society, and an impressive $21.3 million for education, including more than $3 million for scholarships. To all, yes, you may. I'm getting a bad rap about being controlling. I'm not controlling. To all our donors, we are honored to be your partner in philanthropy and grateful for the belief and trust you have in our shared mission and dedicated staff. Last week, you may have seen a news story in the Union Tribune on NBC TV or KPBS. The story was about a transformational gift from a man with a great heart who has a mission to change the life trajectory of our most vulnerable children, preschoolers. A child's early years are the foundation of his or her future development. However, in San Diego, only 40% of children have access to formal preschool education. Thanks to Guy Glum's life-changing gift of $13.8 million, thousands of San Diego's youngest children are now on a pathway to prosperity due to increased funding for early childhood care, tuition subsidies, and other valuable development programs, starting with grants to South Bay Community Services, Mi Escuelita Preschool, SAY San Diego Educational Enrichment Systems, and the San Diego Workforce Partnership. Guy Glum is a longtime donor of the San Diego Foundation. Guy couldn't be with us tonight, but his presence is felt here, as it will be throughout the region by the many children and families who will benefit from his generosity and vision. The Early Childhood Education and Development Program builds on the news we shared with you last year about a new initiative helping more first-generation and low-income students from Mar Vista High School, Chula Vista High School, and Southwest High School in South San Diego. According to the San Diego Regional EDC, Economic Development Corporation, people of Latino and Hispanic heritage will be San Diego's largest ethnic group by the year 2030. Yet, 34% of Latino and Hispanic youth do not finish high school, and 85% of the total population do not hold bachelor's degrees. In addition, research from the Public Policy Institute of California shows that only a fraction of students in California are capable of earning a degree in general, and actually do so. And low-income, underserved students of all backgrounds are greatly underrepresented in colleges and universities. The Community Scholars Initiative had a successful first year. It's launching its second year and will help hundreds of first-generation and low-income students prepare for, pay for, and persist through college. This initiative is built on the foundation of success created by our Community Scholarships programs, the largest private scholarship provider in San Diego County, which has awarded more than $30 million to thousands of students throughout this region. As my colleague Mary Walchak has pointed out, philanthropy is often the first to get involved in important issues that shape the future of the people who live in San Diego. Based on the $21 million you gave to education this year, you also believe that every child deserves the opportunity to succeed throughout the education life cycle. Our donors and partners make a difference in San Diego, and we are grateful to them. And now I'd like to introduce a very special colleague and friend of mine. In 2004, Karen Haynes began her tenure as the third and now longest-serving president of California State University San Marcos. In 2016, she became the first woman to hold the title of senior president in all the 23 campus California State University system. At CSU San Marcos, Karen has overseen advances in serving traditionally underrepresented student populations. In spring of 2017, 55% of graduating students were first in their families to achieve a four-year degree. The student population of nearly 17,000 now mirrors the rich diversity of the region. Over half the student body at CSUSM identifies as being a minority, and the university serves the highest per capita numbers of both military-affiliated and Native American students in the CSU system, and more former foster youth per capita than any institution of higher education in the United States. A first-generation college student herself, Karen holds a doctorate in social work from the University of Texas in Austin. This is a remarkable woman, a generous woman, a woman of gigantic heart. Please join me in welcoming my colleague and dear friend, Dr. Karen Haynes.
Good evening. When I started my appointment at Cal State San Marcos as president in 2004, it didn't take me long to see and feel the impact of philanthropy in this entire region. Literally, in my first week, I had the privilege of opening our university's new library. A hallmark of our campus skyline to this day, Kellogg Library bears the name and honors the generosity of Gene and W. Keith Kellogg, who shared our vision for this project. It was the largest library in the 23 CSU campus system when it opened, and it is not only a crown jewel for our campus, but for also our entire region. Nearly 15 years later, the Kellogg's generosity continues to have a positive impact on a new generation of students each and every year. Philanthropy, much like higher education, provides opportunity, an opportunity to turn dreams into reality, potential into progress, and ideas into action. It plays an integral role in solving the social issues that face our communities. We know how important that is at Cal State San Marcos because our campus is more than a university. It is a community, and we know that our common calling is to facilitate the growth and development of every student. And we know that is a noble and essential calling. We also know that achieving our goals of preparing tomorrow's leaders, building great communities, and solving critical issues wouldn't be possible without the support of our friends and community partners. Indeed, it was the collective vision of a committed group of philanthropists, some in this room tonight, who worked with lawmakers to make CSUSM a reality. That pioneering spirit lives on at our university. We are fortunate to have numerous community and industry partners who share our belief in the transformative impact of a university degree. Each day, their generosity and support have a positive impact on our students and therefore on our entire region. The San Diego Foundation's values of stewardship, community, collaboration, inclusion, service, and legacy resonate with us at CSUSM. In fact, community engagement is one of our university's 5 strategic priorities. We continue to work intentionally and strategically to strengthen and expand our partnerships in ways that allow us to better serve our community as a leader in regional development while responding to the needs of our campus community. CSUSM has always been serious about engaging with our community and creating thoughtful future leaders. Our region needs strong, decisive individuals who listen, who respect differences, and who act boldly on behalf of our region's citizens. We are working to build communities of these individuals each and every day, and we are able to do so with the help of our philanthropic partners. As a steward of place, Cal State San Marcos has become a driving force in leading initiatives and partnering to meet community needs. I am proud that we are working collaboratively to build a stronger and more vibrant community by connecting with the diverse regional communities and constituents in mutually beneficial ways. This is work we do together, and it takes individuals, foundations, higher education institutions, civic and business and political leaders to make that happen. Last February, I announced that global communications company Viasat, together with several of their employees, has invested in $1.5 million to become the founding partner of CSUSM's new engineering program. Their visionary support will create the future Viasat Engineering Pavilion with funding to renovate classroom and lab space, purchase new equipment and instrumentation, and support the work of our faculty and students in this new degree and future school. Industry leaders like Viasat know that an investment in CSUSM is an investment in their company's future. Their philanthropy shows that they believe in what we're doing, that they believe in the power of higher education, that they believe in our ability to affect positive regional change and the region's economy. Our university is nowhere near our pre-recession funding levels from the state, and yet we continue to expand our student population in our goal to serve this region by preparing tomorrow's leaders. As state funding continues to be unreliable and insufficient, particularly to a still young and high-demand institution, philanthropy will continue to play a critical role in helping us increase and assure access and opportunity to higher education in region and for this region's population and future workforce. Last academic year, for the first time in CSUSM's history, we were able to award over $1 million in donor-funded scholarships to our first-generation students. Those scholarships, yes, thank you. Those scholarships helped ease the financial burden and open doors of opportunity for our students, like Micah, a first-generation American Indian college student who overcame numerous obstacles on the path to earning his degree, including being homeless for portions of his childhood. Micah just graduated this past May with his bachelor's in psychology and began this fall his PhD at Fordham University, earning a prestigious six-figure National Science Foundation scholarship. And students like Desiree, another first-generation college student who juggles the demands of motherhood and being a Marine Corps spouse with a rigorous academic workload. The scholarships Desiree has received have helped her family make ends meet, giving her the opportunity to pursue her academic career instead of working multiple part-time jobs. But at CSUSM, our students don't just accept scholarships. They pay donor generosity forward. In fact, this academic year marks the 8th year of our Student Philanthropy Council, a group of student ambassadors whose mission is to promote the spirit of giving back and building the culture of philanthropy among our student body. Their efforts are making a difference as a record number of students gave gifts to our Student Philanthropy Endowed Scholarship this past year. Even more, we know that for most of them, they will graduate and continue to be philanthropically minded as they enter the workforce and engage in their communities. Philanthropy, whether through financial gifts or the gift of time, strengthens our ability to support both the intellectual and personal development and growth of our students, especially those who are most in need of that support. With the help of our philanthropic partners, we are doing more than just producing college graduates. We are preparing future leaders, leaders who will one day follow in your footsteps, sitting in this room to help guide and shape our region. We may not all have the capacity to make a donation similar to what the Kellogg's did to help fund CSUSM's library, but all of us together can and do create the synergy of a philanthropic team that is larger than any one of us. I firmly believe that by providing greater access to higher education and by providing students with the support and resources they need, we can transform their lives and entire communities as we do so. I'm proud and grateful to lead a university where philanthropists invest for more than financial support. They invest their time. They invest their influence for the benefit of our students, and in the end, that benefits all of us. Thank you.
There are differences in qualities of leadership, and you can tell great leaders, especially great leaders of colleges and universities, by their dedication to students. Can you recall how many times Karen Haynes mentioned the word students in her remark? In about every sentence. And that is why you have been such a great leader for California State University San Marcos, and a great example of leadership for all of us, your devotion to students. Please let's thank her again. As we come to the end of our program, we've heard now from some wonderful people, from Jerry Sanders, from Toni Atkins, from Jack Raymond, and from Karen Haynes. And this is really the portrait of a community that is interested and devoted to helping everyone succeed. And the San Diego Foundation is proud to be part of that. And speaking of leadership, let me share at the end of our program some information about our own transition in leadership. The search process we are following for a new and permanent leader of the San Diego Foundation is now underway. We have a search committee that has been formed, and some members of that committee are here, and we're grateful to them for their service. Next week, the job announcement and process will be posted. And we encourage all of you who may be interested in the position or know someone whom you feel should be considered for the position to avail yourselves of the opportunity to participate in that process. We will also be having some meetings of community leaders that will include our donors to be able to hear from you regarding the leadership qualities you would like to see in our new permanent leader. We're hoping to have our new president and CEO of the foundation identified by December and in place by January. So we're very hopeful about this. And during this leadership transition, I want you all to know, we in the foundation and on the board want you all to know, that our focus remains on providing excellent service to our donors, including sound financial performance, exceptional fund stewardship, and impactful programs that make a difference in San Diego for your donor-advised funds and your expectations. 2018 has been an influential year of opportunity. We in the San Diego Foundation look forward to creating more opportunities together in the future with all of you. Let me close by thanking you all for coming and inviting you to stay and talk and enjoy yourselves further in the evening. We're proud of all of you for what you have done for our community. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.